All right, awesome. Hello, Congressman.
Hey, everybody.
All right, so we have a bunch of reporters here. So they are going to be raising their hand with the hand feature, and then I'll be calling them on them one at a time. And if you can just make sure to identify where you're from, that would be great. So yeah, so we can get started if anybody wants to raise their hand first, and we can go from there. All right, Tom, I'll call on you first. You're raising your physical hand, but we'll go with it. All right, awesome.
We'll take it.
I can't. I'm sorry. I'm old and I'm challenged. I can't
Hey,
say.
Tom, how are you?
Hi, Andy. I just would like to get your take on what you thought the key moment in this debate was. What was the most important one or two moments?
Well, look, I feel like from the outset, I was able to really make the strong case that my experience means that I'm ready day one on this. And so that's definitely the top message that I think has come across on our end. The other thing I'll just say is, I just, it was important to hear just straight from the mouth of the First Lady. She's only been a Democrat for 10 years. She's seeking a Senate position that would be for 6 years. I think that New Jersey voters are going to come away with a lot more questions about her Republican past, which she tried to say. I think she wrote it down because it was just kind of so shocking to me. But she just said that it was irrelevant, her being a Republican before. And I think that, her dodging it, not giving any straight answers really shows that there's something deeper to that voters need to hear about.
Brenda, go ahead. And then Brent after that.
Well, Colleen also had she actually did the virtual hand raise.
Oh,
I think
okay.
we should
I
reward
was going to
that.
say, Brenda, I really appreciate the hand.
I swear to God, I can't find where the hand is.
As challenged as you are, technically.
I swear to God, I can't find the
hand.
hand.
We went through the
Where the hell is the
pandemic. How
hand?
did you not figure
I can't find the hand.
All right, it's all good. It's all right. We're adjusting as we go. It's all good, folks. All right, Colleen, appreciate, respect you doing the function. We'll go Brenda, then Colleen, then Brent. Sorry.
All right. Hey, Congressman, good debate. A few times your opponent mentioned your siding with the Trump administration and Republicans. And it sounds like that might be a vein of attack in the coming campaign. How do you respond to that?
Well, look, my record is crystal clear as someone who literally stood up to run for Congress in order to stop Trump, and as somebody who helped flip the House of Representatives to take away his ability to pass legislation through Congress. And I voted to impeach him twice in a district he won twice. I was willing to stand up to do what was right. So, my record is crystal clear. And, I know that she's just trying to, look, it's a sign of desperation that they're just trying to twist things and try to figure out this or that. But, I'm somebody, especially on the issues of immigration, I'm somebody that voted numerous times to be able to stop a border wall. I voted for the Dream and Promise Act to give a pathway forward for our DACA dreamers. I voted for the HEROES Act that was about providing assistance and support during the pandemic, including to undocumented people and communities. So I don't know what she's talking about. But what I do know is that when it comes to immigration, and kind of latching onto the previous thing we just said, when it comes to immigration, you see my record. But for her, she's somebody that still continued to vote for Republicans in Republican primaries in 2014, even after the Republican Party destroyed an ability to pass comprehensive immigration reform in 2013. So I don't need any lectures from her about immigration.
Over to you, Colleen.
Yeah, I'm actually going to follow up on Brenda's. Their campaign put out a statement that had a couple votes in it. And when I looked at those, it looked like at least Josh Gottheimer and Mikey Sherrill voted the way you did. So it seems to me that was a Democratic position. I'm not sure if she would be against their votes as well. So I don't know if you remember anything more about that. The other thing I just wanted to ask, though, was to bring in the student loan part. Was that, it doesn't seem like that was an actual vote she was referencing, but just comments you made? Can you maybe
Yeah, I think
clarify?
so. Let me start there. Yeah, I think. I mean, look, what I said when the Biden administration announced their loan forgiveness. I supported loan forgiveness. I said that I wish that we had had a chance in Congress to try to push legislation that would actually codify it. I get frustrated sometimes where I don't feel like basically, what we see right now is, presidents coming in and each president gets rid of all the executive orders of the previous president, and it just becomes this whiplash. And I want things that are codified in law, so we don't have this situation where, we see this back and forth. I was just expressing like I wanted to work with President Biden, and I hope to continue to. I still hope to work with him on legislation and be able to pass that into law. So that's something that I will continue to do. The previous one, I mean, look, maybe I'll look through and see what they're talking about. I mean, what I'll say is, like, for instance, like the CARES Act, which was unanimously done through Congress. All Democrats, all Republicans voted on the CARES Act going through, and Trump was in office at the time. Yes, there were some restrictions on what undocumented immigrants are able to access when it comes to COVID. So, like, every Democrat supported the CARES Act because it was urgent. We needed to get things passed into law. But I supported the HEROES Act once we had control over Congress, even before that, even before we got control over the White House. So while Trump was in office, I supported the HEROES Act, co-sponsored it, voted for it, that would provide assistance to undocumented immigrants to this country, and that was during Trump being in office. So I don't know, I don't understand exactly what she's getting at, but it just makes no sense when every Democrat supported the CARES Act, and frankly, I think every Democrat supported the HEROES Act to try to get that support back in. So that's my voting record.
Brent and then Tracy.
Congressman, you said you thought this was a sign of desperation of the campaign, taking this line of attack. Were you surprised? Did you not expect this? Was this something you had planned for, that she might bring up Trump? What were your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I suspected. I mean, like, she brought up a couple of lines of attack. She attacked my public service to this country as someone who was a career public servant, and attacked me for working as an entry-level government employee under the Bush administration, which I just found offensive to public servants, to try to portray us as if we are partisan political actors under whatever party is in the White House at the time. It just shows a deep misunderstanding or just or intentional disinformation about what public servants go through and what we stand for. So there was that attack. Look, I mean, I knew that she was going to try something. We saw some different tweets that she's had out in past days trying to attack me on different things. So I was ready for it. But, I know that the voters see past that, especially with the fact that, like, this was actually what motivated me to step up for Congress in the first place, was to stand up to Trump. So the idea that she's trying to portray anything other than just my total effort to try to stand up to him, impeach him, to continue to do so in my fight now running for Senate, it just falls flat to the voters because it's just completely untrue.
Tracy?
I haven't counted it, but it was probably roughly 10 times she used the word Trump. What do you make of that in terms of strategy? Obviously, as Brendan noted, it's likely to be a vein, like we're seeing some directionality.
So Tracy, you're saying that you counted around 10 times that she mentioned Trump.
She just summoned the word Trump.
Yeah. Well, look, I mean, I talked about Trump too, just because I mean he hangs over so much of what's wrong in our country. It's something that people are terrified. When I talk to Democrats, they're terrified about it. And a big reason why I think that a lot have told me that they support me is because I have a track record to standing up against him. I have a track record as well to win a district Trump won, and that's something that I think has got a lot of attention as well. Just my ability to show that I can build these coalitions, stand up to him. But people want Democrats that can win. They want Democrats that aren't going to have any trouble with the general election this November and things like that. So at least that was there a different angle, or does that hit what you want, or is there something?
No, I mean, it felt noteworthy to me, the number.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely, I'm not sure what my count was in terms of raising that. But I mean, look, it is on a lot of people's minds. And, I think that there are a lot of Democrats right now terrified about the prospect of Trump winning. And that is motivating so much of people's minds right now. And as I said, I hope I can show people that I'm somebody that has done so and actually is one of the best performing Democrats in the country in terms of, being able to have a strategy to beat Trump, certainly in my district. And, I would hope to take that across the state of New Jersey.
Catherine, and then Tom.
Thank you so much. I'm with Politico. And so I wanted to call back to the First Lady's response on the question of the county line and how to manage these issues in this primary. And you called on her to commit to sharing a line, which her response didn't commit one way or the other. And so I guess my question to you is, how do you actually move forward throughout the rest of this primary race, given the First Lady's stance on the county line issue, and then also, her point that she made in this debate and she's made in several other statements is that, everybody is vying for every candidate in the race is vying for the county line. So everybody should be. That's the system that we're working under. So I guess kind of your direct response to that point that yes, she is vying for the county line, so is everybody, and then kind of realistically how to move forward within this system or out of this system.
Yeah, I think that actually gets to kind of something that Tom was asking. I mean, in terms of noteworthy part of the debate, I mean, the fact that she just completely ignored my call for us to then share lines in all 19 counties that have lines, if that's what they're trying to do. I mean, right now, I don't know how much you guys are seeing this, but like the governor and the First Lady are putting a tremendous amount of pressure on my home county of Burlington to try to get and force people here to have a shared line between me and her. I absolutely reject this unless she's going to agree to do this in all 19 other counties. But like just the brute tactics that they're trying to do to just manipulate and try to take actions that would just, again, it just shows the undermining of this at all. And we just saw that constantly in her debate performance. Just the defense of systems. She's just constantly defending these systems as they are and not letting, I mean, Joey Fox even asked her, like, put your defensive systems aside. Like, what would you want to see? And she just refused to answer that because she knows that she's benefiting from the system as it is. And that was very readily apparent from her performance today. She cannot hide the fact that by virtue of being in the most powerful political family in the state, that she is benefiting from this. And as a result, she doesn't want to change the system because the system is so good for her. The status quo is so good for her. And that's something that was really, is really stuck out to me in terms of her response. And just, and what I've been dealing with over the last couple of days as like, the governor is literally making phone calls to people in my county on behalf of his wife, trying to pressure people into having a shared line at the Burlington Convention next weekend. And I find that ridiculous and frankly repulsive.
All right, let's go, Tom, and then I'm going to give Fred a chance to jump in with a question if he wants, because he has not asked me.
Actually, Andy, going to ask you exactly on those lines. What specific actions can you tell us about? If you're talking about Burlington now, you brought up, who did the governor call? Can you get specific? And also, I've heard in other counties, including Bergen, you haven't had a chance to address the delegates because of scheduling games before the convention is held at which the decision's made. So what I want to ask is how many specific actions that we haven't heard about yet are being taken by them that you consider to be unfair?
Yeah, well, look, I don't feel like I can name who the calls have gone to from the governor and the governor's team to people in Burlington County, but I can confirm that this has been a major effort over the last few days leading up to the convention this coming weekend to try to push for a shared line and threatening that if that doesn't happen, that they will aggressively fund and back their own line to go up against the county line in Burlington and try to jeopardize local officials from who are seeking re-election or election.
And the governor's been personally engaged in that.
That's at least what I've heard.
Have you heard it reliably from more than one person, people you trust? Give us some more on that.
I have heard it reliably from more, from at least two people that the governor is personally involved in this.
And were those?
But I do not have direct knowledge.
But were those two people who the governor called, or that they heard about the governor calling?
One was somebody that the governor called, and another was somebody that had heard.
How about Bergen County? Is it true that you didn't have a chance to address the delegates?
Yeah. I mean, I can't even get venues sometimes to be able to book events because the county party tries to squash our ability to get these venues. So I mean, it's just been really crazy. Just the lengths to which people are getting pressure not to host things for me, even informal meet and greets that aren't about endorsing me, but just trying to get me in front of people so that they can make up their minds. We're just
what are they doing about the informal meet and greets?
Well, just I've heard from people who were setting up some of these or trying to, that they came under pressure to cancel them and things like that, and not give me these opportunities to be able to do so. We're seeing that as well. I mean, you all saw some of the reports that a bunch of the county chairs met with the first lady in person after the Monmouth County convention. I mean, who does that? And just immediately after that meeting happened, I see aggressive emails from county chairs to their delegates attacking me personally. And so the chairs are definitely amping up, their direct efforts to try to do that. We're trying to see if we can get machines in all, or at least secret ballot in every single county convention. But we're coming up against resistance because we people seeing what happens when you have secret ballots, and so Somerset and others, we're trying to make a push so they don't do the hand raising or public way that they do it, which would just be really difficult for people to be able to vote their conscience, knowing full well in that direction. So Katie and I we'll think it through. I haven't eaten dinner yet, so my brain is a little bit
a
little bit foggy
last
after
thing I would
90-minute debate. But if I think of other incidents like that, we'll let you know. But we have a pretty long list of just insane things that we've come across.
Is it fair to characterize what you've seen as bullying?
It's yeah. I mean, for instance, I've had numerous people tell me that the governor has called them directly, saying, for instance, that that I voted against aid to Israel, and try to use that as something to gin up concerns about my positions. That was a direct political ploy by Speaker Johnson that pretty much every Democrat voted against, not because we don't support Israel, but because that was something that was Speaker Johnson directly attacking the President of the United States' approach to this, and something that would have done, if passed into law, devastating harm to Ukraine in terms of our abandonment there. And so for the governor to be personally making these calls, just clear misinformation. I just like, I thought he said that she was going to earn this on her own, and the fact that he's getting so involved. I mean, he spent all day at the Monmouth Convention going around that floor. Many of you were there. So these are very clear what we see going on right now.
And then since we are almost at time, I'm just going to give Fred and Charlie the opportunity to jump on.
I'm happy to do a little bit. Yeah.
I'm okay. I'm fine, thank you. I'm just listening in. All very
All good.
Good
And
to
then
hear-
Charlie,
good to
I
hear.
know you joined a little bit late. I didn't know if you had a question that you wanted to ask, or if you're just here if you're here like Fred.
He's out smoking a cigar.
All right. Then maybe if there's one final question, we can.
Yeah, I'm fine with Tracy and Colleen. We can do those two and then end.
Oh yeah, I wasn't sure if that was the same hand raised or if there was a follow up there. So yeah, if you guys have, feel free.
Tracy, you have something else?
Yeah. Well, I don't have as precise a question. I'm just, the pressure you've noticed, has it been since Monmouth, or has it intensified since Monmouth? And are there counties which you expected to have secret ballots that are now moving toward open, like easier to, like a different strategy? I recognize each county kind of has some flexibility. But I'm wondering if you're sensing in this last week a difference within the Murphy campaign.
Yeah.
Also,
so,
like
I mean,
that
the
second question being, which counties are you considering running a line?
Yeah. So let me start with your earlier questions. I mean, the pressure has been throughout this, entire campaign, but I do sense an increase in the pressure just in the last week, and seeing that, especially after that kind of meeting with the chairs, I'm seeing some communication from the chairs out and things like that are showing a greater intensity in terms of the actions by the Murphys. And people feel it. I mean, like, I don't know exactly what's happening, but like I hear from some chairs about just, really, they're just like, one just told me, like, just point blank, he can't stand Jersey politics right now, and that he can't tell me exactly what's happening, but he's just having, that he had a really bad day, and that he's coming under a lot of pressure. I don't know exactly what's happening, but it certainly feels like there's a lot of behind the scenes effort. I can speak mostly to what I told you in terms of Burlington, just a severe amount of pressure coming down, in terms of having a shared line here in Burlington. I'm sure that I'll be honest, I'm sure that's probably happening in other counties too, where they sense that, I might have a shot to be able to, win those conventions. So I think I answered the first part of your question. I'll do the second, and if I missed anything, let me know. The second part, in terms of where I might run lines, I'll be honest with you. I don't have some map that is all ready to go in terms of which ones I'm going to engage on that. I've had some conversations with different potential candidates in different counties these are candidates that have already stepped up or planning to. I'm not necessarily at this point recruiting people to run, but right now I'm just kind of focused on the conventions and doing my best to be able to get through that. I think we have a tremendous amount of momentum coming out of Monmouth County, and I'm sure many of you feel as well. I do feel a sea change in terms of my engagements with different just people in New Jersey since Monmouth. Like the number of people that have reached out to me, now willing to host events, now willing to chip in money, now willing to come out to events. I mean, I just did a bunch of events yesterday. The attendance is through the roof. people are much more bullish about the prospects that we can get this done, and I think that sense of inevitability for Tammy or is completely vanished now in the minds of a lot of the voters that I talked to. So so I do feel like a intensity of energy as well on our side. And so we're going to continue to push that through, but I'm keeping an eye on the strategy and thinking through what counties to use different tactics in if needed. But you all know the position I take. I mean, I want the office block ballots all over the state, and I'm going to continue to pressure for that too. Colleen, Tracy, did I get all your questions? Is that okay? Yeah. Colleen, why don't you close this out here?
Yep, I'll close you out. So one follow-up to that, and then I had one other question. Has the governor or Tammy or anyone from them, did they approach you earlier and say, we want Tammy to run, so maybe you should back out? And then the second question was, before the debate, we got emails from the Team Tammy saying that they were expecting these, anti-woman questions. This whole question about sexism in this campaign. Do you think that's an issue at all? Do you see any sexism against her?
She sent out an email, saying that the Globe and the panelists were gonna do sexist questions.
Saying she was expecting. I mean, it was part of a fundraising email, so I think she was just trying to get some money there. But saying, we're
that's a weird accusation to make to a debate to a panel of questioners. Well, I thought the panelists that were doing the questions did a very professional job today. I thought the questions were very serious, and and to insinuate ahead of time that was not going to be the case, I think that's irresponsible. Honestly, it's trying to gin up your supporters to have less credibility and trust in the process of this debate, which I thought again was held very professionally. So that what will be your first part of your question, if you don't want?
Did the governor or Tammy or anybody from that team
try
to get you to back out?
No, neither of them contacted me and said anything of that nature. I have had people, early on when she jumped in, tell me that I probably should go back to running in the House of Representatives, and I can't say that they were acting on behalf of anybody though, but it was a significant number of people that told me that they think that that's best for me. But clearly I didn't listen to that. But I'll be honest. Hey, look, I mean, I'll just share with you what I told one of the people that told me that I should do that and drop out of the race to clear the path for Tammy's. I told him I would not be able to look my two kids in the eye if I felt like I was backing out from a run for Senate, when I believe that just because the person I'm running against is well off and well connected and more powerful, from a more powerful family, I would not be able to look my kids in the eye if I step down and because of the pressure to do so. And I've experienced a lot of times in my life where I felt like I got passed over for jobs or didn't have opportunities because someone else just had better connections than me, and I could not even contemplate this idea, and especially when I know in my heart that I am better qualified than the First Lady in terms of my experience in Congress already and in public service. So that's what I told one of them.
All right. Well, thank you guys all for joining us.
I'm gonna go get some dinner. So thank you everybody for participating. If you have any follow-ups, follow up with Katie. But I'm glad we were able to do this. I hope it was helpful for you all. Have a good night, everyone.
I'm recording. I'm recording this, so if you guys want a copy, definitely let me know. Charlie had some audio issues, but he did want to pass along to you, Tom, that he was in fact enjoying a cigar during the debate. So you were spot on for a little bit of that. But all right, thank you guys all for
Okay.
joining, and just email me if you want a copy of this, and I'll send it along your way. Thanks so much.
Thanks, everybody. Take care.
Bye.